really heavily early. Their damage is not bad, actually. Lone Druid Timbersaw is quite good, and they have Winter Wyvern Starter to back them up. So I like that a lot. On DC side, they had Chronosphere, aka Faceless Void, they have Phoenix, they have Beastmaster. They have a lot of good options as well, so
yeah.
I think the initiation is going to be pretty important in how the laning stage goes as well.
I personally like I like anything that can combo up with a Sunstrike for an Invoker, as we saw with Quake the last game for the Alliance Escape series. It does a lot of damage, and it is pure, and it just melts a lot of these squishier heroes like the Wyvern, like the Chen. Slaughter with Sprint on, and it's one way to deal with Timbersaw because he has so much armor to deal with that. Magic nukes are one way to go in terms of just bringing him down. And with Sunray on top of that too, there's a possibility that could be good. But we have the predictions now.
All right, what do we got? Total number of player deaths at game end.
This could be a bloodbath, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm gonna
26 to 40 maybe.
I'm gonna give this a 41 to 55, but I'm not confident about that. Player faces places the most observer words by 15. Oh damn, Resolution's playing Carry Venge. Okay, so it's actually offlane Void, but they may do safe lane. No, it's actually offlane Void. It's Carry Venge. Okay, that's different than expected.
So wait, what did you put for the observer words, by the way?
I'm gonna give it to Handskin. Last player to be killed is Weehaw? Jesse, maybe?
I would say...
This is a hard game for a...
I would say Jesse. I would agree with Jesse.
I'm going to choose Weehaw.
Okay. Player with the highest total magic or pure damage done to heroes at the game end. That has to be Timbersaw, right?
It's that or Invoker. It's going to be one or the other.
I'm going to go limp in this situation for complexity.
Okay.
We chose a lot of complexity, to be fair.
I mean, I don't know who's going to win this series either way. So normally my predictions get completely biased by the fact that I think one team will win, but not this game. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll wait and see, as of course we are going to jump into the first game of this best of 3 series, Complexity versus DC. If you're just joining us, I'm Mott. With me is Purge, and we're underway. We have one best of 3, actually 2 best of 3s today, and then a best of 5, as this is day number 4 to determine who gets to TI through that last best of 5 series. And to start things off, we'll be here in the upper bracket, I believe final, I guess is what you call it in this situation. So we're here now in this best of 3 series, and to start things off, it'll be Swindles and Hanskin playing in a dual lane off lane. Usually the Hanskin is replaced by Z-Freak in this situation. But with him on the Winter Wyvern, he'll be here as in the mid lane, and it's currently going to be Z-Freak or close to that mid lane, jungling up for a bit, and using that Satyr Tormentor.
He's basically going to aggro try. He's grabbing this creep here, and then he's going to move in the enemy jungle and start doing some pressure. I don't see him pressuring mid too much, considering the fact that they're doing a dual off lane. I think they're going to try to kill Phoenix, Venge, maybe pressure Misery in the jungle as well. So laning was a little weird here for DC. I thought that they were going to do
No, he's going to go straight mid. He smoked up. He dropped a ward down. He might head towards bottom lane. He actually has the Satyr Tormentor heading to the jungle for the time being. And guess what? Misery is AFK jungling. He is the 4-position Beastmaster support. They've sent Moo into the offlane on that Faceless Void. Limp and him going toe-to-toe. It looks like right now, somewhat even to a certain extent. Obviously, one last hit and 4 denies for Moo, but there's going to be the Rolling Death to do some damage down bottom. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled over here, as this is where the action could happen, Captain. And we'll see how things go for that bottom lane of action.
I'm not sure if I like this Venge Phoenix dual lane. I feel like it's not going to get that much value. If it was just an off lane hero, it would be great. But because it's a dual lane, things are a bit weird.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the fact that Resolution is a safe lane carry Venge.
I have, like twice.
Okay, you talked about it. I was apparently barely listening.
You're grunting. Just constantly grunting. I read a Reddit comment yesterday that described all positive attributes about Mott, but then at the end it said, except for the fact that he's constantly grunting. And I had no idea what that meant. I just thought it was hilarious.
Slithering Crush, Arctic Burn, Satyr Tormentor throws up that Shockwave. Wave of Terror will go as well. Do they have the damage? She's got a Sal ready to go, and they just don't have enough. And meanwhile, Soxa comes in, and he didn't have anything to help out. He only has Icarus dive there too, so...
You know what kept him alive was the range creep aggro to the Satyr, so he, instead of cutting through that little tree line, he had to run all the way around.
Oh,
he might have been able to follow up and get the Shockwave there.
Yeah, the Satyr's chasing after Rezo, but he actually has that full HP now as the salve. Meanwhile, they use the Holy Persuasion just to make sure that they don't give away a creep. Swindle is going to go and dive with that Slithering Crush, and he's going to hit and run as he hightails it away from that tier 1 tower. Not with the creep wave under the tower, they can actually kind of get away with this. The Satyr Tormentor looking for a Shockwave. Again, he actually found another one in the jungle. Slithering Crush will go, looking for it, or Beastmaster Misery solo is going to deny himself as he went for, of course, the Ancients. That was interesting. I think, I'm not sure what happened there. I think that was on purpose.
He probably bought out. Yeah, he's got an Iron Talon and another Ring of Protection. He looks like he's fine. Ooh, the Satyr will get killed by a Sunray by Soxa.
Nice. That's some good farm. Level 2 now.
A very small victory there for him.
Yes, Pyrrhic.
It's been tough for Resolution here. He's only got 7 last hits. This is compared to Swindles, who's got 10. And the other 3 lanes are going well for DC, though. They have, obviously, jungling Beastmaster. Chen is a little underleveled, considering he's been pressuring so hard here. But as long as they can keep Vengeful Spirit a little underleveled, I think this is going to be worth it. Because he won't be able to... They're not going to have nearly enough carry potential.
Yeah, that's
unless Moo... I mean, Moo's doing well, so they've got that going.
Right, Moo has 16 last hits. He's actually outlaning the Timbersaw for the time being, but Moo has to shoot through a lot of his regen. In fact, he has nothing left in terms of it. Mid lane, you can see the Invoker right now for Weehaw is actually behind the Lone Druid, who has 18 last hits to the 17 of Weehaw. It's only a 1 CS difference, but...
I'm going to call that close.
Yes.
So
I would agree with that statement. It's not shocking that he's doing that well. So yeah, DC are doing fine, other than, of course, his bottom lane.
Yeah, if they didn't have the jungling AFK Beastmaster, they would be behind right now. And again, Moo's doing fine last hitting, so they've got 3 good last hitters. Complexity is in the same position. I feel like coL is doing their job a little bit better, though. Just because if you're trading evenly on a Lone Druid, he's going to have great carry potential, whereas right now DC's kind of putting everything on the back of Weehaw and Faceless Void, and Misery, obviously, who needs to get a lot of kills once he hits level 6.
Yeah, and he should get there pretty quickly. It's level 4 right now at 4.5 minutes in. Again, it's at nighttime, and he's got the Iron Talon, he's got his Tranquil Boots, so he can just sit in the jungle, farm as much as he would like. Down bottom, Icarus Side's going to go through the Splinter Blast, doing some damage. Resolution's going to back away. He had no mana to use that Wave of Terror or Magic Missile. He'd be able to get out just fine. But that was still a bit sketchy, and again, this bottom lane continues to be harassed central, and DC have a tough time down here. And looking, Swindles is going to find another crush here in just a moment. He's just going to right-click for a fair bit. There's the crush going through. Arctic Burn should be ready, and it is. This might be your first blood. Good Sun ready to heal him up, and Swindles has to back away. Wave of Terror, Hanskin might get the job done, and he will. Still, mightn't get the trade for Soxa and Hanskin. Not going down yet. He's been scouted out. They've got Splinter Blast and Sunstrike on top. Hanskin will take the damage. They split it in Complexity. They get 2, they lose nothing. Misery wants to find something here. They've already TP'd out Hanskin. Swindles might be next. Slithering crushes on the boar. Can they get a boar hit here? It'll slow him down now. Misery's on the hunt, but I don't think he can chase any further. However, Sprint just being used. The Hawk coming through to get vision. Misery really wants this kill, and he just doesn't have the damage, doesn't have his level 6. And it's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange, Purge.
That's really tough. If Misery was 6 there, he could have possibly gotten a double kill, perhaps a minimum against Swindles. But super sick plays by Complexity. I thought Hanskin was making a mistake, but he had creeps in there hitting the Phoenix with himself, so he was able to kill the Phoenix. They split the Sunray or the Sunstrike. It was perfect for Complexity. They're getting everything they want out of this offlane, with the exception of maybe that Z-Freak is slightly underleveled compared to a normal Chen.
Z-Freak right now. Chrono Spear top lane, Sunray onto Limp, Sunstrike to follow up as well, do some damage, can dip her chain away, but the bash comes out from Moo, perfectly timed. Chakram is there, will do nothing, Soxa stays alive. No Icarus dive, TP coming in from Swindles. He's going to sprint up, they have the creeps coming in, they're instead going to look for Moo, who's the bigger target, and they will trade effectively. Great rotations from Complexity as Z-Freak was jungling in the vicinity. He brings over his creep army, and they find themselves a much needed kill in that situation.
Mid, though.
Wrap mid, they're looking for Chessie coming through. Misery has Roar. He can't get it off in time. Maybe he can. Chessie walks back in. Now Misery's caught. There's going to be the Arctic Burn coming through. Splinter Blast is up in 3 seconds. No mana there. Weehaw just pelting him from the low ground. Still looking for that Roar. Sunstrike, he'll find it. Cold Embrace will not save him, and DC will end up getting the kill. And finally, Weehaw getting involved there, picking up a much needed one on top.
Pretty big mistake there by Chessie, the fact that he ended up getting killed. He got out of the gank, he stayed alive, but this Observer was just placed down, and he realized too late that he was out of position again. They almost killed Misery, though. If they would have gotten an Entangle on the cliff there, they might have been able to blow him up, but their gank is successful. Still looking pretty good for Complexity, but DC's going to be really happy with that.
Right now, it's only a 500 net worth advantage for Complexity, but you have to look at how the laning phase will shape up into the mid to late game. At this point, you have obviously Chessie, who does go down, that will stifle his Midas into his ratings for a fair bit, but on the other side, you still have Swindle's farming fairly well, looking for Moo with the Slithering Crush, and the amp damage is up as well. The Chen creeps are here. He's got a Satyr Conqueror, a Mud Golem with Hurl Boulder, and Owlbear Smasher as well. They have to throw the boulder. They're going to get it, but he's going to time walk away. He'll take that damage. They will not die past the tier 1, as the threat of the TPs are too heavy from the side of Digital Chaos.
The only way that works is if they approach the creeps from the front, and well, they might be able to stun him.
He's got another one in 1 second. He can't get it off in time, but there's no more follow-up coming in, as of course the Chen is focusing on the tower now.
Yeah, minimum they do damage. That's not too bad. 2 Observer Wards coming as well. Any Chronosphere? No. 10 seconds left on that, so no setup. But if these guys stay a little bit too long, there could be support TPs, and he could set up kills with this Chrono.
He is just going to get pushed back for the time being. With amp damage up, he does need to be careful. Swindles is sprinting. Dire's Courier is going to fall on the other side. I think it was the wraparound here from the Beastmaster with the Smoke of Deceit gank. Now they're going to run knowing that the Courier was dying en route. Instead, it looks like they won't find that Roar coming out from Misery. If they had a TP coming in from the support, they would have 3 heroes there with a Chronosphere and a Roar. I think they find a kill instead.
Yeah, the tower's dead though, so they can't really do that right now. He's going to turn his gank mid instead, but it is daytime, so Chessie's most likely going to see this coming. He doesn't have his Midas yet, so he's pretty behind where he normally would be. That 1 death cost him quite a bit, and his last hits are faltering slightly. He's still doing very well. He's got 18 denies, but definitely a little bit of a late Midas. But he's bought a lot of other things. He's gotten boots, he has the Ring of Basilius, things that he feels like he has to buy since he's mid instead of in a safe lane.
Yeah. Chessie is still doing somewhat okay for himself here as he's going to head to the jungle now. There's a Hawk scouting this out, but I don't think there's going to be any further aggression yet from DC. On the other side, you can see Limp is down bottom now. He's picked up his Arcane Boots. The Courier died with, well, actually, I don't think it had anything on it.
Yeah, transferred Observer Wards, and then it got sniped on the way back just by Boars hitting it.
Not a big deal.
Yep, I mean, it's a lot of gold, but at least they didn't lose some items temporarily. Not that that's the biggest deal at this stage in the laning stage. You know, if Couriers get sniped with items on him before a fight, then it's a big deal, but nothing like that happening just yet. Limp's sitting okay. He's a little bit more behind now than he was. That bash that hit him yet before was just so
Misery?
unlucky.
Swindle came up looking for a Slithering Crush, and he found it. Misery was there, but he didn't use the Roar, and then Moo was looking for the Chronosphere. They miss out on a much-needed gank, and especially with an Invoker with Sunstrike, that's an easy kill. And so they let it go by the wayside. And by the way, Weehaw did pick up a Midas. He's level 8 now. He'll pick up Bracer to head up to the drum as well. And Chessie is just got his Midas recipe, but he did go for those early items as you've mentioned. So net worth-wise, yes, Weehaw has an advantage as he did get to use the Midas once. It is still very close to the beginning stages of this game, however. I mean, if you look at the graph, it's even. And it really comes down to that first big team fight purge and who comes out on top there.
There's going to be a lot of important things about map movement, like who takes tier 1 towers faster, things like that. And Lone Druid's not that far behind. He already has the Gloves of Haste on his bear, so he's about to grab the recipe with his bear, bring it into the jungle. Complexity's going to have to defend the top lane here, but it's getting kind of scary with Chronosphere as well as Roar. They have 2 good ways to set up a Sunstrike kill, and very likely they'll get it. So I don't know if Complexity can benefit.
Yeah, Swindle is already TPing out. He's like, you guys take this tower, but down bottom it looks like Limp's in trouble as the Icarus dive came through. Resolution, Magic Missile, that'll grab the kill on the Timbersaw. Much needed, they'll trade 1 for 1. As the Phoenix does fall, Swindle's coming in looking for that Slithering Crush. He'll find it, and damage is up next as well. Can they bring him down? Moo, Chronosphere initiation. Resolution, Wave of Terror is up and ready. Do they have the damage on Swindle? He's low, good call and breaks. Swindle's pushed into the tree line. Might actually save his life. The axe is not enough. There's the Winter's Curse, move back up to pretty good HP, but the Slithering Crush on top, time perfectly from Swindle Melons. Beautifully done, and Misery amp damage up. He's about to fall. One more right click, one more Slithering Crush will do the job, and there it is. Swindle finds himself a double kill. Great initiation from Complexity, and they do lose the Timbersaw, but boy, do they gain a lot out of that engagement.
Yeah, Swindle's played that really well. I love how as soon as the Void got there, he walked away from the tower. If he didn't move that slight movement, he would have been hit by tower that whole time, and he would have gotten killed. So really nicely done by coL there. They're definitely outplaying DC in some of these skirmishes.
Sunstrike, ooh, Hanskin just TP's away. It was a good try from Weehaw. Unfortunately, can't find that target. Maybe should have just gone for the well instead. Still, though, Weehaw continues to be that bright line of hope for DC as he is topping the net worth right now. Chessie is second, and the 2 mid laners going toe-to-toe, having a pretty good battle as the Midas is now done for Chessie. On the other side, DC has picked up Book 1 for Misery. The AFK jungling 4-position Beastmaster is starting to come into his own. And maybe that can turn things around for DC, although it's just that was only 1 lost fight. It's still even. I shouldn't say turn things around. It's still very close at the beginning stage of this game. What I am concerned about is Resolution, Purge, and what he's going to be doing on that Vengeful Spirit on that core.
Yeah, this kind of a role is very different. It's not very common. They're gonna smoke and set up ganks to them. This is one good thing they can do. Magic missile damage output is actually not bad because it's pretty low cooldown when you max it out. So, and they're gonna do this with a swap here. They got
Chessie is the target. Level 1 swap. Smoke has not been broken yet. Nobody else mid. Chessie seems to know that something's amuck, as of course they are missing down bottom, with the exception, of course, of just that Phoenix. So Weehaw will come up. Chessie's behind the tower now. This is not an easy gank. And they'll look for it. They'll just sit into the tree line. If they find that swap into Magic Missile, that's a Sunstrike, surely kill. But already wrapping in mid as Weehaw's going to get caught now. Splinter Blast, Arctic Burn, he's in trouble. The Bear doing work. Now the Sunstrike on top of Chessie will blow him up first. He's down. Now Timbersaw comes in, misses the Timber Chain. Chakram doing some damage, but Resolution going to work. The Wave of Terror, the Chronosphere, onto 3 from Moo. Lip is barely alive, but will end up falling to Soxa Sunray. Hans gets next to Icarus Dive, the flyby. Moo will find a second one for himself, gets the double, and now they'll put up the Chen Army on top. Great crush onto 3. They'll find Moo, but Swindles. That's all he'll get out of that engagement. Magic Missile will go through his neck. They get off the Hand of God, send back in time, not there. Resolution breaks it down. The Tornado doing some work. He will fall.
Oh, is he gonna get the double?
Z-Freak looking for another. He will. Z-Freak gets Soxa with a double kill.
Oh, he might kill him.
Can't find Misery with that Test of Faith. Too far away. You can see would be pure damage. Might have been enough to bring him down. Would have been close, but still it is a nuts trade at the end of the day. If we look at the fight recap, it is 4 for 3. The edge does go to DC, but barely. Sunstrike, nicely done. Weehaw. Right on point.
Oh, I was right. Last player to be killed. It's Weehaw.
Oh, you bastard.
That was such a close fight by all means. I thought DC completely stomped it, but then Z-Freak double tornado, Swindles came in, they cleaned him up. If they didn't do that, that would have been an amazing team fight win for DC, but what a close game. I can't wait to watch the rest of this game.
And they're not done yet. Weehaw. They have the Sunstrike up. Swindle will take most of the damage, but Weehaw is about to fall. Arctic Burn and the Timbersaw doing the majority of the damage there. Sunrays up, Swindle will about to fall. There's going to be the usage of that Winter's Curse. Does nothing, doesn't stop Soxa from using Sunray. Swap back, Limp in trouble. Resolution needs a couple more right clicks. He's got Sun in one, but now Limp gets away with the Timber Chain in time. Hanskin not so lucky, but he's far under the tier 1 tower with Z-Freak nearby. Might even send back Limp, but he's going to just use Mech instead. And instead that will be the end of the engagement, and back and forth we go. This is a heck of a game, Purge, so far.
Yeah, coL's kind of hitting a little short with Timbersaw right now. It's the one hero that's having some issues. Limp did well in the laning stage. He got really unlucky on that bash during that Chronosphere when he Timber Chained. But other than that, he's been kind of slightly ineffective to his spell usage. He keeps throwing Chakrams on top of Winter Wyvern ults and things like that. So almost getting killed top here by a Sunstrike Sunray, kind of a cool gank attempt, but it doesn't work out. But he needs to play a little bit better. He's one of their team's big damage sources. Luckily for Complexity, I don't think it matters that much if he falls a bit behind, because Timbersaw's always going to be good. Whereas on the other side, DC's got a Vengeful Spirit. It's a hero that's normally played as support. She has great scaling based on her skills, but in a lot of cases, her ultimate doesn't do anything damage-wise.
She's below Swindle's net worth, barely above the Timbersaw. I mean, they're pretty much, they're close to supports, although there is a lot of farmed heroes in this game. I will say that if you look at it, there's like 7 heroes above 4,000 net worth right now, with Weehaw leading the way. So Resolution is doing his best to catch up by taking the tier 1 tower. He'll be successful in doing so, as his Helm of the Dominator is now done. And they will hightail it out of that mid lane together, making sure they don't get caught by some Winter's Curse or Chakram or Slithering Crush initiation. As Slaughter has his Blink Dagger, but guess who else has it? Moo on the Faces Void.
Okay.
That's pretty nice.
Really good considering they have a Phoenix on their team and Invoker as well. So if they see the perfect opportunity when all of Complexity is grouped, they can just easily win a team fight. So that'll be huge. Another thing that I kind of like about this Venge carry is the fact they're going Helm of the Dominator. Totally normal build for Venge, but the difference is that they're against a Chen this game. So every single time that they go for a team fight, he can steal a good creep instantly and use the spell, which can possibly turn things around and limit what Chen does.
And it's later on down the road where you build into that Satanic when you have the attack speed to work with.
You are way ahead of yourself here. I know. Satanic on Venge.
Yeah, I mean,
that's very unlikely. I don't even know if that's ever happened in a pro game before.
I'm going to believe that it's going to happen, Purge. Let me have this feeling.
Right, Venge has 57 last hits to 16
my God,
minutes.
look at Moo where he's situated. They did smoke up, but they won't scout him. And Complexity actually won't be scouted either. This Hawk is up, but they have no vision. The Shockwave will come through to kill the Hawk with the Chakram. But they should know they're around Roche right now. This could be a perfect time for Chronosphere for the Faces Void.
Found it. They know.
Yeah, and they're in. Complexity will then get out with, of course, the bear sitting in there, the Chen armor doing some work. And no armor reduction with the exception of amplify damage, which is plenty.
Oh, can they get Weehaw here?
Weehaw is going to get stunned up by Swindles. Blink and Spring Crush, Splinter Blast as well. Unabashed comes through. They have detection. They drop the sentry. Weehaw will fall. Moo is there, has to blink away. Cannot get the chrono off in time. And with him dead for 45, this might open up the advantage for Roshan. They find Sox as well with another Slithering Crush. Not sure what he was doing over there. He's able to Icarus dive out, but he still might get chased down. Wave of Terror. Now the roar comes in. Misery's going to try to fight this, and Hanskin will pretty much get soloed. Sunray on top of Swindles. He's low. Great Supernova. Sox avoids the damage, and Swindles will end up falling. Hand of God, too late for the party. Lift gets chronoed up as well, and DC are turning it around. Misery picks up a double kill for himself. They've dropped 3 dead, and they're looking for the bear now as well. Icarus dive. They don't get chested with the slow. They'll turn their attention towards the Spirit Bear and bring it down. 300 gold going the way of Resolution, much needed. There is a resummon, he just used it, but now it is going to be DC's turn to head over to Roche with Wave of Tear, with Necro, I believe, too. This might be their Roche.
I think it looks like it. I mean, coL made a really good play there, picking off the Invoker. They saw him TP to the mid tower. Winter Wyvern might get a kill with this.
Arctic Burn, he has the Winter's Curse coming out. He got the bar. That is not the play, Hanskin. They get the Aegis for Vengeful Spirit. Good Splinter Blast, Time Walk to avoid all of that damage. The bear is still in. Swap out from Resolution, and he gets the bounty rune. Resolution style, and Icarus dive is up. There's the next to keep them fighting. Since Soxa will get stunned up, he'll fall, but everyone else should be able to keep you out. No Centaur Conqueror stomp. Limp doesn't get that Chakram in time, and they're still chasing. They do get the Entangle off to Resolution. He's completely out of mana, mind you. He's close to that tier 2 tower, but they have no other TPs coming in. As of course, Misery, or rather, excuse me, Weehaw is up towards that top lane. Resolution getting caught out. There's the Entangle coming through, and it looks like he might lose that Aegis, but can they defend this? Move with no mana and no Chronosphere. Misery also, he does have Roar. Resolution getting destroyed. Sunstrike though, it'll hit onto Swindles and Limp. The Roar comes out, doesn't do enough damage to Limp, however, he's taking tower hits. They'll take 2 for the side of Complexity. Swindles will fall to the tower in the Necro units, but they do lose Resolution not once but twice as well. All the meanwhile though, Weehaw is doing his job, split pushing. He's picked up an Ogre Club, and what a fight. I mean, just some crazy fights over the past couple of minutes, honestly.
This game is so close, 13-13. We called it, man, bloodbath. It's happening. But right now, DC is actually significantly in the lead. Invoker's like 2,000 ahead of the Lone Druid now. Lone Druid's not looking very strong in these team fights. He finally does have the relic, but he's been chasing people at a very slow speed, praying for an Entangle, and it's been very hard for him to get them.
No phase boots on either him or his Spirit Bear, I don't believe.
Not too weird, but at minimum, normally, if you plan to fight...
he doesn't even have boots on his Spirit Bear, actually.
Why did Timbersaw just die? He's got Sunstrike top.
Wow.
For nothing.
So how did they kill him without just the...
He must have been low. Yeah, he had to be low. That's it. I mean, he always looks around the map. He tries some very unconventional kills, and some of the times it works. Really nicely done by him, but the game's looking a little bit bad for Complexity. They had a great early game advantage, but those 3 heroes dying in the jungle was really unfortunate for them. They
Misery Resolution.
Backed off and taken Roche.
Here we go, Smoke of Deceit. They're the ones on the hunt. They're about to find Swindle Melons blinking. Chronosphere swap out. No! That's not the play, although it's still okay for the time being. Winter's Curse will come in. Swindle's still taking Sunray damage. Good Slithering Crush. Axes might finish him off. He's still burning down from the Fire Spirits and will end up falling, and Hanskin might actually be next. That was an awkward play. Does still work out in the end. Thank God for DC, honestly.
Oh, this is cool. Dragonlance on bench. This makes a lot of sense, actually.
Oh, Weehaw and Viz. Savage Roar, nicely done, but they still don't have detection. It really just stops them from TPing home, and that's it. And meanwhile, Tier 2 Towers taking top, like you said. Dragonlance is up for the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to bring down one of the Chen crews, which of course is the Centaur Conqueror, and now DC will push up into the high ground and try to at least put some pressure onto this tier 3. They have this advantage, as we talked about. It's 7,500 now, and
it's such a cool build too. Like, because Venge is normally not the best carry because she has weak range. Dragonlance offsets that, and it gives her even better stats. She's already got great stats, and it further synergizes with Vengeance Aura. It's actually looking kind of good. I really like this build, and it makes her very tanky. Now, they are having some execution errors.
Yes.
But I think they're excited, man. They're in the lead here. They're taking Complexity out. Once Complexity gets Radiance, things are going to change, but they've already got Ags on Invoker as well, and Weehaw's Invoker, it never slows down. It's always good.
Yeah, this is the big problem. And the biggest issue for Complexity is that they were quelling the Vengeful Spirit. They were making sure she wasn't getting farmed, but after these last couple of engagements, she is now 3rd or 4th in net worth only behind that of the Chessie Lone Druid as well as the two heroes on her team. Not to mention Moo is sitting up there as well with Vlad's Blink Dagger and of course Treads. And so you have the top 4 of the top 5 going for DC, and it's just the Chen is actually he has more net worth right now than his Timbersaw does. Swindle Mountains, despite him having a very good early game, is not really progressing in the way he needed to progress.
He's doing okay though. He's creating space. I mean, he did overextend in that one fight where they lost a couple of heroes, and yeah, the net worth on Chen is really high. But that's because Z-Freak's been playing amazing. He's 5-1-4 on a Chen. That normally doesn't happen. Yes, Limp is underperforming though. He needs to win some fights, basically. He needs to get some kills because he needs to catch up, and he's not going to do it any other way. This hero does not passively farm as well as others.
This smoke could be it, breaks. And they're going to look for it. Oh, Spirit avoids it. Nicely done with Swindle's Blink away. Misery looking for Aurora. He gets it off. Savage Roar a little bit too late in there. There's going to be the Icarus side. Sunstrike on the lip. Will do some nice damage. Not nearly enough. Swap back. Resolution looking for Swindles. Good Winter's Curse. The Chakra will be right on top. They should have the mech ready to go. Resolution looks like he might fall. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. Weehaw, though, is doing some serious. The Submarine top helping Saksa and the rest of the crew go through. Tornado is going to catch Z-Freak. He will probably fall. But Moo looking for more. Chessie should get an Entangle proc here if he's lucky. Unfortunately, not able to do so. And on the other side, Z-Freak, as I mentioned, will fall. Hanskin, he's going to be able to look forward and say, I probably don't want to fight this. Gets off the cold embrace from the bear and then just leaves. Sunstrike, though, will hit. The bear will take some damage and will inevitably fall with 1 or 2 more right clicks. Weehaw instead looking for Hanskin. He wants him. He wants more blood. They've got a 3-for-1 exchange, and now Chessie, he's being chased down. He's got a TP, gets off a good Savage Roar, but the Tornado will connect, and Weehaw is making some serious plays on this Invoker. Chessie getting jumped on with a Time Walk, bashed up and brought down by Digital Chaos. It is a 4 for, what, 2 exchange? No, 1. You can see it is all going up Complexity's side, or excuse me, Digital Chaos' side right now. And DC looking to finish off this tier 2 tower and get even more map advantage, Purge.
And coL needed an observer ward so bad there. They just didn't have one near the tier 2 tower they fought. If that ward that they had on this high ground was placed somewhere else, they could have fought that fight so much better. They could have initiated better. They wouldn't have had to settle with one man and slaughter stuns, for example, but they were just playing kind of in the dark a lot of there.
Oh, it's not over for Complexity yet, but again, with Limp going down, he's now up to 8 bloodstone charges. He did suicide that time, so he doesn't give up the gold to Digital Chaos. However, Complexity, it's right now just Chessie doing the majority of the work, and it's not nearly enough as the Lone Druid is. He needs more farm than just a Radiance and a Midas.
And his bear died twice there, so even when he gets back up, he's not going to be ready
to
farm.
33 seconds without it. It swindles.
It's been a tough game for him, actually. Yeah. It's just because they've been forced into these early engagements, and they haven't been winning them hard enough. Limp is not pulling his weight this game.
I feel like it goes back to the draft. I love the fact that DC took the Beastmaster away from Swindle Melons. I love the fact that they picked up the Invoker for Weehaw first 2, and then they got somehow Phoenix Void second phase.
Yeah, they were great picks.
Getting banned.
With that said, though, I think it's literally just comes down to the fact that Limp is having a rough game. He's not doing that much damage. In some ways, Timbersaw doesn't synergize with Winter Wyvern, for example. Like, whenever Wyvern does his ult, Limp keeps he consistently does this. He puts Chakram down while the ulti is up. He needs to time it so that it passes through as it ends. That way he still gets the slow, but he also gets the damage.
Yeah.
He's not maximizing what his hero can do. And yes, the fights are very chaotic, but he needed to be there at the start of the first couple fights using his spells correctly because they're not winning fights.
Misery has a Blink Dagger and he's about to find Chessie. No vision just yet. They'll see him now in that middle lane. Do they want to go for him? It would be a blind Blink Roar at this point. The Hawk is not scouting them out, not yet anyway. They'll see a couple of others move through their observer wards as Z-Freak heads to the jungle. Instead, it looks like they're just going to say, okay, we don't have to force anything here. We can push bottom together as a team with Resolution, who's now finished up a Yasha, and take the last outer tower, the tier 2, and then wait for Roche, which is going to be up here in the next couple of minutes or so.
So coL's going to try to move across the map and get some control here. A couple sentries. Little do they know, all the DC observer wards are on their side of the map. And DC's going to take a really easy tier 2.
They're going to force some TPs back, I would imagine.
Yeah, they've
already forced one. And Timbersaw is here.
It's a good choice. Decent counter push, fairly survivable, so lower chance we'll get killed.
Spear Bear has been caught again. There's the ice wall, and I don't I don't know if the Spirit Bear will actually be able to survive again.
Run, little bear.
Meatball, Deafening Blast, Cold Snap, move, blinks in. Savage Roar, nicely done, but the Sun Rays, more than enough damage. And Toxic gets himself that 300 gold bounty. That's the story of this game with the lockdown that they have against not only him, but the rest of the team as well. The Spirit Bear is unfortunately falling quickly, and just everyone else is as well. It's just a lot of damage coming from a lot of different sources. Minus armor, physical, pure, magical. There's everything they need to bring down these heroes. And DC has drafted in such a way that they're really doing very well for themselves.
Yeah, and normally them killing the bear isn't that big of a danger. I mean, Sunray's still very good against it, but they've been losing fights. He's not able to stay ahead in the bear, so they're kind of forced to do more split pushy, aggressive stuff like that. And if the bear gets caught, the bear gets caught.
Well, it is just game number 1 right now, and Complexity had a great start to this game, but it just feels like, as you've talked about, Limp doesn't feel comfortable on the Timbersaw. Swindles has died a little too much, being a bit too aggressive.
No, he's doing, honestly, I think Swindles is doing fine. I don't put Swindles dying on him at all. There's, if they kill the bear here, it's
Tornado,
really bad.
Sunray, they cannot let the Spirit Bear go down. They're gonna roar it. There's the Necro 3. They just, they killed the Lone Druid, and with him going down, then of course it's the bear next as well. And the backlash.
A little unlucky here.
I mean, no bear for 82 seconds, no buyback on the Lone Druid. We're about to see a high ground siege here, Purge. And they even pick up the Diffusal Blade for a face support on top of that.
Even if Lone Druid was alive right now, it wouldn't matter. The bear's dead for 70 seconds. That's Radiance. That's most of their net worth.
That's almost all of it. Well, you know, he's only at 11,000 right now, and the next closest is 9,000 actually for Limp, but it's just not enough right now.
Well, Winter Wyvern is slowing the push down a bit.
Lens. Move comes in, time delay. She was looking for a Chronosphere for perhaps, but Slithering Crush comes out from Swindles to make sure he doesn't get out of the high ground just yet. Still.
Why is this a backdoor regen? What the heck?
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening here.
Oh, it's a dominated catapult.
It's a dominated siege.
Okay, that's why.
I think that was the reasoning behind it.
For sure. It must
now it won't be backdoor protected. They can go. Although Chesty is back up in 8, he still doesn't have a bear for another 35 seconds. And Swindles and Limp are going to try to have to do this on their own. With Weehaw and how farmed he is. Bots, Aghanim Scepter, level 4, Invoke, Blink Dagger. They will back up, which I think is the safe and correct play for DC, excuse me, but they're going to pick up an Aegis here, look for another pick off or just to choke out Complexity, and then inevitably there's no tier 3 tower now here in this mid lane, so they could just push this Rax with, I wouldn't say reckless advantage, but they have a lot more room to work with.
Yep, and they have the better team fight as well with Void and Phoenix, so everything's looking really tough for Complexity here. They can still win fights, but they've got to pick off some heroes out of position. They've got to get effective initiations, that kind of stuff. Maybe a really good Winter Wyvern ult could do a lot, but with BKBs being picked up by DC now, I just don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like nobody's been dying in the Winter Wyvern ults. Maybe it's things like Vlad's giving everybody armor.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. It's just he hasn't found the right Winter's Curses yet. In fact, in the past couple of minutes, I don't think he's used a Winter's Curse. You can see all of these kills going the way of DC.
He's been using it. They just haven't been extremely effective. That's all.
Yeah. DC will go for the high ground push right now, and it looks like they will try to finish this game off. Necro 3 is up and ready to go. Resolution now has that Aegis, not to mention he can sit from the low ground and use his Dragonlance with the Alacrity to go to work. A Wave of Terror, clear out the creep wave as well. He's looking for a swap. He's going to find it. Hans getting roared up. He won't even get the Winter's Curse off. Does he have buyback? Absolutely not. And Limp is maybe next. Smooth's going to work. Supernova on top of that beautiful Chronosphere from Move. And it looks like they'll lose Deep Freak on top. He gets the mech out. He gets off the Hand of God. Good Winter's Curse. They do get the buyback. Move will fall. Swindles jumps in. BKB is now down. Limp's up doing some decent damage with that Chakraman Timber Chain. But Weehaw has a triple kill. He's about to find an Ultra. He will. Can they get him the Rampages? No. Soxa, he picks up the double kill on Dominating Spree. And that should be it, Purge. What a first game from Digital Chaos here in this best of 3 series against Complexity.
Yeah, it was actually a very close game. It may not look like it right now, but those first couple fights were absolutely dead even, and then the couple afterwards, coL got a great pick off on the Invoker. A little overextension afterwards led to them losing 3 heroes, which led to a Roche, which led to coL forcing these fights that weren't quite ideal, and they just kept losing more and more. And if you take fights that go even or bad for you when your Lone Druid doesn't have Radiance yet, it puts you in this kind of a position where you've got to kind of throw yourself at your opponents until you win. So it really just came down to the fact that They didn't back after they got that Invoker kill and immediately go for Roche. That's what they needed to do. Swindles, that was the maybe the only big mistake that I saw him make the entire game. Other than that, he played fantastic. Was that he went for the Phoenix, which ended up getting them caught in this long engagement where they lost 3 heroes, and Roche because of it.
It became a snowball out of control type of game for Digital Chaos, and I don't think Complexity should feel that bad about this loss, in all honesty. I think they played pretty well. The draft, you could argue they got out-drafted to a certain extent. I don't think that's necessarily the case. But
I don't agree with that. I think that their draft was decent. They just needed their Timbersaw to hit a little harder. I thought they did great in their dual offlane with Chen aggression. That was awesome. It really limited what Resolution was doing. It's just, it literally came down to not getting far behind before they got Radiance on Lone Druid. They needed to get the Invoker pick off, take Roche, finish Radiance, and then they start fighting all the time.